love when she's away. All right. Welcome back to Growing Up in the Wilds of Suburbia. I'm your host, Chad Everett Broshears. Today, we are talking about shifting your mindset. And there's a lot of interesting things. I hear people say this stuff all the darn time. I hear people say, I'm going to shift my mindset. I'm going to go yoga. I'm going to go meditate. I'm going to do this. And people get a false idea about shifting your mindset. I'm not saying that anything about any one of those things are inaccurate. It just doesn't work for everybody. Oh, there's different things that work for different people. It's like whenever people say, hey, do you meditate? Like, yeah, actually I do. But in what ways? When do I do it? How do I do it? How frequent do I do it? What is the resolution or opportunities that I develop out of it? Do I come up with a solution, or am I just sitting there and calming things? Oh, we can make up a lot of opportunities and create a lot of satisfaction from doing certain things. So you can meditate and change your mental state. Absolutely. Can everybody do that? Not everybody has the faculties to do it. Not everybody is educated at the depth of it. But there's other things you can do. If you're sitting on something, and I've done episodes on this before, where you're on it and you want to be on it, you can stay on it. My suggestion would be obviously be on it, be upset as long as it's necessary for you to realize what you're dealing with. And then make a solution. Come up with something. Avoidance usually isn't the best solution, because typically avoidance means that it's likely going to come back around and get you again. And your tolerance level may be a little bit lower, and your day is going to be a little more affected. If you don't deal with it now, create a solution. If you don't know how to create a solution, find a mentor. Start looking for mentors either in books, look for mentors on videos, look for mentors in whichever way possible. Maybe people in your life that have overcome those things successfully, not just BS their way through it, try to create clout by convincing you or trying to convince you that they were successful in an effort. Mentorship is fantastic. Typically, with mentorship, you're likely to get a little more professionalism than you do from your friends. So, with that being said, let's work on another element. What you listen to and what you watch regularly, and the conversations you involve yourself in that you feel like you have some sort of contribution to, is likely also going to shift your mindset around. So, if you're listening to angry music regularly and you find that you're frustrated more often, you can very well be linked to what you're listening to often. Now, if you're listening to angry music simply because you're dealing with some frustrating elements in your life, and you're listening to it because it makes you feel like other people are related to you and they've felt that same type of experience or something similar, you feel like you develop some sort of camaraderie with that individual or that group or that band, and therefore you're going to feel like you have a little bit better place. Somebody else gets you, you're more satisfied. But if you stick around in that, you start developing outlooks in life that have to do with being frustrated. It's up to you how you want to do it. I'm not here to tell you how, just give you a little bit of information on it, a little bit of insight. If you like what I do, you always can become one of my wonderful clients, but I'm not doing that for this reason. I'm actually doing that to try to help people see life differently and maybe mature a little bit more in certain places that makes them more functional in society, and also increasing the likelihood they achieve their goals with minimal negative impact. So, but anyway, we're surrounded by this. We're inundated with it. We've got plenty of people right now that you can see where they've got those challenges going on. They're frustrated. They see things all the time in the news about other people, how they're wronged and all of this. Sometimes the news is exaggerating or changing the story in order to get clicks, views, or whatever, because that's how they get advertising dollars, and every company seems to want to survive, so therefore they're going to do those things. But if you want to shift your perspective and you realize you are listening to things that are pretty angry more often, you very well might have an angry disposition, but it's also a pretty good idea to try something else. And this is a personal experience of mine. I love science. I am incredibly drawn towards science. I see something that actually is scientific literature, and I'll read it with a skeptical mind, but I'm reading it because, true people, or people that practice true science, always look at it with a skeptical mind, but open enough to listen to it. I realized that I love science so much that I was starving beauty. I was taking some of the beautiful things in life away. Like I wasn't really giving a whole lot of credibility to art. It's not that I denied credibility art. I just didn't put time on it. I didn't think about it. Didn't live with it. I didn't take time to actually take it in, to consider anything that actually art can bring to your life. So I started to feel a kind of an affect of being kind of gray, borderline, a little more anxious, slightly depressed at times, frustrated a little bit more often. And not so much that it was just because of all the science, or some of it was dealing with a lot of politics, stuff like that. But I did realize that I was kind of losing some of the joy, even though I felt great joy when I learned new things and figured out how other pieces fit into the puzzle of life and the base of knowledge that I have. I just kept realizing that I was missing something. Like I just didn't feel like my life had so much of a robust element to it, and that was that I was cutting out a lot of the beauty in life, a lot of the art values in life. Music is art. But what I would do is listen to YouTube videos or lectures on or books, audiobooks, things like that when I would travel back and forth to work. And I really didn't listen to any kind of music except for early in the morning, on the weekends, and maybe at night once in a while. But I started to recognize that my mindset was slipping. My mental state that was emotionally charged was sitting with a little less joy. So I was kind of, in its own way, doing a lot of work but not scheduling a lot of play. So since I've had a lot more appreciation for art, I've also started listening to things that I enjoy again. Some of the videos I'll start off singing. I know this particular video I started off and sang the wrong words. Ain't No Sunshine is not really the hardest song to sing, and I don't know, that something happens when the camera comes on. Some behaviors become a little overdone and some a little underappreciated. So, yeah. So if you want to get unstuck on something, you don't always have to, find one of the more traditional routes, in the sense of, let me go and, sit with a monk in Thailand, or Tibet. Actually, I'm sure there's monks in Thailand too, but you don't need to, go to a yoga retreat. You could if that's your thing, but you don't have to. You don't have to go and sit in a dark room and, hum to yourself until you find peace and centering. You can do a lot of different things to kind of help support a desirable disposition. I only caution that if you're seeking a desirable disposition to be happy all the time, that's a fool's errand. Life has too many values to be stuck in one particular emotion too long. You find that a lot of chaos happens around it when you don't have fluctuation in emotional states. Somebody's always happy. You can consider this as a little bit of evidence for that. Think of the last time you actually talked to somebody who was overly optimistic. Somebody that was incredibly optimistic to the point that they never had anything negative or undesirable to ever say or be heard, and they filtered everything to try to make it look better by the way that they would say it, even though you may witness the same thing and be like, that wasn't a good event. Those individuals, they're hard to be around at times, because they just don't seem like they're willing to deal with reality. They seem like they're just kind of stuck in a dream state where they're trying to mind over matter more often and not realizing that matter will kick your ass. So it's a nice little balance to have a good direction. A good flexible affect is a good thing. Being able to acknowledge that you are in a situation and to figure out how to not get in that situation again without necessarily spending time in avoidance, but more of a constructive way of not getting caught in a trap, if you will. Stay out of the mousetrap. Not spending too much time in that dark alley of your own mind too. That's a pretty challenging place to be in at times. So, all right, that's it. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time today belaboring you over this. By all means, please, don't take my word for it, but if you are feeling like you're stuck in one of those crappy moods, turn on something you enjoy, something that doesn't have so much anger or balled up fists or, all of that nonsense. Try to pick up something that maybe make you feel a little bit more desirably nostalgic. Look at some art. Look at your partner and truly appreciate, as much of them as you can. Start in certain places. You can look directly in your partner's face and start to really appreciate, the outline or, the facial structures, those kind of fun, those kind of valuable things, that we typically just forget about after the beginning, or we just let it go without appreciation or even acknowledgement. So, and then go into their character values, like really put yourself in a state of presence and see what that does for you. Or you can keep listening to angry music and run around with your fists clenched and your teeth grinding down and, saying, I wish a bitch would, or a Karen would, or whatever else, or today ain't the day. Like, if today ain't the day, you are awfully wound up, and you might want to try to do a little bit of a retreat from the things that have got you in that place. So, all right, that's it. Get off my soapbox. Let's get back to life. Again, this is Chad Everett Bro Shears. I am the host of Growing Up in the Wilds of Suburbia. To go to the YouTube channel, like, subscribe, and leave comments, comment section. Share this video with people in your life that will benefit from it. Have some dialogue around it, and till next time, we're all in this together. We can sit around and be jerks about it all, or we can try to figure out what somebody else may know that helps us get where we want to be. At the same time, we can do that for them. We don't have to have so much warfare. All right, until next time, enjoy. Thanks for tuning in, and you keep it classy.